Okay, today is November 27th, 2017. Right now at 9:15 p.m. we have a temperature of 47 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 71%. The dew point is 38 degrees and the barometric pressure is 30.03 inches. All right, so overnight starting around 3 in the morning, there was a little bit of rain. And we got a whopping 6/100ths of an inch of rain. Okay, and that is amazing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the southwest map. This entire tropical flow moved through the area around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and moving along in a northeasterly direction. We can see the flow pattern right here in the western water vapor map. This yielded very, very little rain. As we look at the Doppler map, we can see that there's really nothing from that moisture field moving in, and that is because of all the chemtrail spraying. Let's take a look at the MODIS Today map for Southern California. Here we have Los Angeles over here, and we can see the natural clouds for a change. Look at this. And so these clouds didn't actually generate the rain. It was this area over here which moved through several hours earlier. This photograph is usually taken right around noon on the MODIS Today map. So what we're looking at is the back side of this area right here moving through. And of course, this should have brought plenty of rain, many inches of rain. See, this is part of the jet stream flow right here. But getting back to the MODIS Today map, we see that this band of moisture, the deeper band of moisture right here, is just completely blanketed with this gray chemtrail haze. And so this is why we only had 6/100ths of an inch of rain. And again, we see the distinct color difference between the chemical desiccant chemtrail mix, this off-white gray stuff, very easily identified as fake clouds because of this gray color. Now let's go back and look at the natural clouds over here, and we can see that these are brilliant white. And we can see that down here there is some chemtrail spraying right down here over Dana Point and San Diego, Orange County area, all through here. This is all fake clouds blanketing the natural brilliant white clouds. So here we see the distinct pattern of why we didn't have much rain. And the color satellite map here shows and proves once again that the spraying, the chemtrail spraying, is conducted over these moisture fields, which should normally drop a lot of rain. And of course, the precipitation process is stopped when the atmosphere is capped with these aerosols. So we can see the what's happening here. This moisture field here is completely capped, blanketed with the chemtrail mix, the chemical desiccant mix, and that's why we don't get much rain. Here's Las Vegas. So this is climate control, folks. I guess you could say it's climate change, but it's climate control, really. And our television sets aren't really telling us this. The puppet meteorologists on TV aren't telling us. They're not telling the general public what's going on. Let's take a look at that Alaska map again. This is I think a 954 millibar storm system right here. Let's just stop that loop and take a look. Let's take a look at this square. Look at that. Just put the envelope on that. See here? That is amazing, isn't it? All the meteorologists out there and the scientists Why aren't they showing this when they talk about global warming and climate change? Why don't they show us these details? Why don't they show us the chemtrail spraying and the timing, the specific timing of the chemtrail spraying? Why don't they show us that? Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because people would figure out that carbon dioxide has nothing to do with this climate control that we're witnessing pretty much every night on these videos. I try to get one done every night, but it's not always possible. Okay, looking here at the infrared map, we can see that same rectangle right there. And what happens here when they apply power from a satellite to this area, we have the imprint of the transmitter leaving. What's happening here is that this is generating heat. This is heating and creating high pressure in the center of that vortex. And what happens is we see clockwise rotation over here, and that separates part of this moisture field from wrapping back around into that vortex. And we can see that here. A lot of this moisture is being pulled away in a clockwise direction rather than wrapping back around. Let's go ahead and look at this is the surface analysis map. Let's take a look at that situation up in the Gulf of Alaska. We have no less than 5 lows starting over here by the Canadian coast. We have one here. We've got one here, 972 millibar storm, which is moving to the northeast. And then we have this dual low pressure system. This is where the right angle is showing up right here along the Aleutian Islands. This is a 962 millibar storm. Actually, 2 storms. All these are storms except for this is a gale right here. And then down here we have another rapidly developing hurricane force storm right there, 988 millibar. And then we see this big high, 1,029 millibar and 1,030 millibar, 2 highs, which are going to follow all this weather as it moves towards the west coast. Same thing over here. We've got a high way out over here. These are all moving and following the natural eastbound movement of all these storms. And of course, these will block and create the warm weather over the next several days over the Southern California area and over the west coast. Here's the swell report showing some of the swell activity out in the northeast Pacific. We have 36-foot swells generated by that series of low pressures up there. We've got currently 17-foot swells off Central California. All right, let's take a look at some of these other maps. We have the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. And we were just looking right here over Alaska. Right there is where that right angle is, that sort of square-shaped feature. That is a satellite transmitter weakening that system, breaking it down, applying heat to the center to prevent all this moisture from wrapping back around and feeding that vortex. Over here we can see another gale force system, and there's another rapidly developing hurricane force system right down here. And we've got high pressure setting up all through here, all along, right through here. And that will block this jet stream flow from merging with this tropical flow down here, which is being pushed away from California. So based on what we're seeing right here, we're going to see a lot more spraying tomorrow, certainly in Central California and Northern California, since there's 0 rain. If we look at the Doppler map, once again, there's 0 rain in California except for right up in the, probably near Bishop and Mammoth. There's actually a microclimate up in the Mammoth, and that may have something to do with making arrangements with the people that control our weather. Had some people tell me about the very strange climate up there in Mammoth. They seem to get snow up there when nobody else is getting any kind of weather around in the central and southern California area. Okay, let's go take a look at the Northeast Pacific map. Once again, we have a lot of tropical flow here, moving right over Hawaii and right through Baja California. Look at that rectangle right there. None of this will be shown. This certainly won't be shown on the news tonight. Okay, here's the western water vapor map. See some chemtrails being sprayed right through here. So we're going to see high pressure set up here. We're already watching that unfold. And the high pressure will block all this incoming weather. We had a forecast for rain for next Saturday and Sunday. That's now been changed. No rain for next Saturday or Sunday. So the reports are always changing. And the weather controllers have to maintain an element of surprise in order for this scam to continue. Here's the Southern California maps. Once again, we can see that moisture field, which yielded about 6 100ths of an inch. We're right near the mountains, near 6 and 8 and 10,000 foot mountains, and we're getting 6 100ths of an inch of rain right where the lift is supposed to be occurring, right over these mountains. So I'd like to hear the meteorologists on TV and these scientists that are so smart explain to all the rest of us what's going on. Why aren't we getting rain? Instead of just not showing the weather, the satellites, why don't we hear some explanation as to why these chemtrails are being sprayed? We'd like to hear from the other people out there. Okay, here's the SSEC map. We can see some detail here. A lot of chemtrail spraying. And we can see that right angle way out here. Okay, so that is pretty much the report. We'll just leave it right here. This is really something. So Al Gore and Jerry Brown and all the rest of you, I don't know what you people are smoking, but this has nothing to do. This is not caused by carbon dioxide, and certainly not being caused by smokestack emissions, water vapor emissions from smokestacks. Okay, that's it.